Hello and welcome everyone. Let's do another live session. This time, actually, for the first time, we are now live on, let me see, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We are adding more channels as time grows. Haven't been live on Facebook and or haven't done anything on Facebook and Instagram for many years, actually. So, hello, what's up? I would love to know where you guys are watching from. Not this time the country, because I guess that's just repetitive over some time. But what platform are you watching from right now? Are you from LinkedIn? Are you from YouTube? Show me up where you guys from. Are you from Instagram for the first time watching now? Or even Facebook, which is probably a very, very old and dusty account right now. Uh, yeah, I mean, now this session, I want to talk about our AI systems, really seeing exactly how we use our AI automation systems to eliminate 90% or like a very high amount of repetitive, boring, and stupid work. No hype, no slop, no theory, really everything that actually works for us running the business. And let me see. I see somebody, LinkedIn user coming from LinkedIn. Awesome. So I see some green check marks. So the stream is going well. Again, let me know where you guys from. I have now calculated that there's always going to be like a 1 minute delay between when I say something and when you guys see it. Also, another change that I want to do actually is you can ask questions and comments and everything in between every section. When I talk about like, hey, section one, section two, section three, and not like everything bulk in the end. So we have a little bit more of back and forth within the stream. You can let me know your thoughts, your questions. You're like, hey man, this was really helpful, or maybe this was useless. Of course, let me know, and that way it's a little bit more dynamic. And again, like improving this stream every week. And let me see. Hello from YouTube. Hello from just hello, brother. I don't know where from, but I think that's fine. Really, really cool to see. All right. So let me start with the opening and then we can get started right away with some very juicy and very helpful tips and tricks from our experience from many, many years. 1 second, just starting this one. All right. So it feels like a lose lose. Either you don't use AI and that way you're already obsolete and left behind, or you use AI and it kind of feels pretty bad most of the time. Like it's kind of like sloppy. We see all of this stupid AI slop, hallucinations, and sometimes it's even more work to fix stuff than yeah, it's just like much easier than just doing it yourself, to be honest. And many people it's like, okay, now this is a bubble and everything, and there's like these studies that 95% of companies don't get any ROI from using AI, most likely because they are using it wrong. And I generally see like three types of AI users. Basically, the ones again I who don't use it at all, they're already left behind, but also the ones who think AI equals ChatGPT and then they just prompt something and be like, okay, hey, build me this and let's do this and this. And it usually, of course, doesn't work. So that is really where the negative image of course comes, because wrong expectation settings, of course, fake marketing as always. They tell you, hey, you do one prompt and you get a full business running and everything. Makes no sense. That is why people think that it's like kind of useless. But for us actually, I would consider actually the category who don't use AI in isolation, but actually combined with systems with very clean data. I think that is the most important part, and automations, we can achieve insane amount of efficiency. And just to hit home on this one, we just ran a few months ago the world's biggest XR hackathon, which had like 3,500 registered participants. I think we got like 200 plus projects and also like 150 partners involved in this one. And the core team of this was like 4 people. So we're like thousands of people managing and like doing lots of stuff in like lots of different ways. I'm gonna show you exactly what we did and how we did it and how we leverage AI systems and automations for this one, all by ourselves. And it's not that the event was like bad or anything. Like we used AI and it was shit. We had a rating of 9.1 out of 10 from the participants. So it clearly worked. It clearly leveraged a lot of our work. And in this session, I'm gonna exactly show you the fundamental principles that I've been experimenting over a bunch of years now, to exactly get these results and how you can apply them for your own personal and professional life. So that's the pitch, and let's get started. So no house is really built without a strong foundation. And this is really, I would say, one of the single most important things when talking about leveraging AI to enhance your productivity, to enhance your workflows. You can't just like take AI and throw it into a um, bad mess up, a bad setup, or like a bad infrastructure. And before we go with any of these fancy tools like crazy automation, clicking one button and lots of things happen, or having agents do your work, or like all of the other crazy things, before we talk about any of those things, there's again one thing that is much, much more important. And I think that is really the reason why many projects don't scale, or they scale really bad. They kind of like scale like in that direction. So you keep doing stuff, but it gets worse and worse and worse as it gets bigger. And that is why also there's like so much extra work needed. As it gets bigger, it gets even more work. So I really want you to think of your workspace as the brain for your company and your people working in the company. And the foundation is having a clean and well data managed workspace. In our case, and now I'm going to go with the concrete examples. In our case, this is the combination of Notion and Claude. We use Notion for running our entire company and my personal life, our events, everything. This doesn't have to be Notion. There's like other tools also available, of course. I don't know, like many of the others, Asana and some other kind of tools, of course. But having that clear is so important, because the thing I'm talking about is having very good context for your tools. Context is basically like the base information about something, like about your company, about your tools, about how you write, all of those things. And if your AI is kind of like integrated with that, then it becomes extremely powerful. And let me actually show you how we do this with Notion and Claude as a combination in a bunch of examples, of course, how we ran XRCC and some other type of things, because they're actually very, very, very powerful. So let me actually go ahead and share my screen. Uh, so this is basically like our Notion workflow. There's a lot of stuff. I will try to kind of like make it as actionable and helpful as possible. But this is like my Notion. I think of it as the ChatGPT training that you have, or like the Claude projects and all of that stuff. So this is kind of like you train your agent, all like very basic. Okay, cool. You give the identity, nothing too fancy. You tell it some words and phrases to avoid, like this stupid typical AI slob words like discover, a leapfrog, and all of this stupid shit that no human ever uses, especially this M dash. But it's still like things that I do for all of my AI tools actually is one thing here. When you get the prompt, I want you to classify it, because you want to get context, but you don't want like context is like the AI asking you questions back. Like, hey, what exactly do you mean by that? I'm going to show you some examples. It takes the prompt, classifies it into simple, medium, high complexity. If it's something simple, like it's like, what's my name? Then I don't want the AI to ask me questions, like follow-up questions on that simple thing. If it's medium, then like, ask like one or two questions, or like two or three. If it's something very complex, like you don't want your AI to build your entire marketing strategy for 2026 in one prompt without any context. It makes no freaking sense. So for example, here, I don't know if I say, by the way, I always speak my prompts into AI with a tool called Whisper Flow. Just so you don't wonder, like I don't even anymore. I have like super long prompts, sometimes like 5-minute prompts, to just give more and more context. That was like a quick tip. But here, for example, hey, what day is today? Should hopefully tell. It's a simple prompt, and then it doesn't need any more context on that one. If it doesn't do stupid shit, of course. Yeah, so it's no problem. And now I want you to build my entire marketing strategy for 2026 for XRCC, which is my hackathon conference. So hopefully it doesn't just start building something, because that would not be good, because it doesn't have any context, doesn't have any idea, and so on and so on. So while this is cooking right now or noodling, let's move on this side here. So that is like one core thing that I do, and you can just implement this right away into all of your chat tools. Oh yeah, it already did here. Okay, this is a complex one, building an entire marketing strategy 2026. Before I go deep, I need you to ask a few things on the output. So it now asks me like a bunch of questions, and then I usually tell it, hey, I will like, okay, first, blah, 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 second, blah, 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 and so on. And even then, I don't actually take the reply. I still tell it, hey, let me know what other questions you have before starting. So I just like keep feeding or keep telling it to ask me questions. So I feed the AI. Super, super helpful. So you get like really good replies. This is pretty universal. So actually, even outside of Notion, what makes Notion, for example, insanely powerful, it's crazy actually, is the stuff that you can add into this. So I can add any Notion page and have like 10,000 pages probably already on everything. So for example, here I tell Notion AI, hey, our core task database is master task. So this has like all like 10,000 plus tasks from the entire company. So whenever it builds a task, it puts it here. These are all of our projects. This is our knowledge hub. I'm going to show you in a second. Our website. So I pre-fill this with all of this information. So whenever I tell Notion about something with XRCC, it already knows this content over here because I have the entire XRCC 2026 project with the vision, with the target audience, with the sponsor lineup, with the plans and everything already in here. My dashboard, my tone and voice guide, and so on and so on. So like is here. I tell it, hey, when you read something, put it here. When you write something, create a task, put it in my task dashboard, etc., etc. So that is like the way that I want you to think about feeding your AI with context. This can also go to Claude. Like I have them stuff in Claude also with the project. So I just give it a bunch of data, has all of this pre-knowledge, and we take this to like the extreme level actually. Like we really, really feed it. Like we have our knowledge up here, like with all of this stuff for our company, but we really treat it like having AI employees. And we actually just built our first one, our first real agent. I go to, oh, there's too much stuff, tone and voice guidelines over here. So for example, here I tell it, hey, use our tone and voice guidelines. We actually had this for some marketing agencies many years ago. So this is like the funny example where this is for humans and for AI agents, basically. So it's using all of that stuff over here. Of course, like AI blacklist, words to avoid, etc., etc. And the last level that I want to show you about this one, because I think it's super, super cool. We can actually, if I go back here to this example, um, let's actually take, this is the script I have right now for this very video, the AI automation system behind blah, blah, blah. Let's take it now. The AI system, okay. So using your skill, build a LinkedIn post for me in my tone and voice. That sounds like me. Keep it short and precise. And yeah, don't forget to use your skill. So now I told it, hey, use your skill, because I also, a little bit of a teaser for what's coming next. I actually gave my AI, like the Notion one, a bunch of skills. So here it has like a skill for writing a LinkedIn post. So that actually pulls up my content library. And this is what I want to show you, like how far you can go with this one. Because since I want it to sound like me, it needs context of how do I sound. I don't just say, hey, don't use M dash, because it still will sound like AI, of course. And the interesting part is here, I gave it like a bunch of context, even those typical emojis I use, etc. But the most important thing is our content library over here. This one has like 500 plus of my LinkedIn posts, my Discord announcement, my YouTube, I think scripts, even my emails that I wrote. That's typically focused on XRCC. So it's like, okay, is it like pre-event, during event, on what channel did it go? So you see like it's like one here, and it's just like full of stuff. It's like all content for the agent to use, like partner discount for the sponsors, for the mentors, for the judge, for the participant. So now when we run an event, we can just be like, hey, build our entire partner post templates for XRCC 2026. That is a discount, that is a price, that is a date. And it goes through this list here goes through the exact type of things that we did here. And yeah, awesome. And this is like all of the stuff that I handwritten myself actually like a bunch of years ago. And that way we actually get stuff that, let me see. I hope it, I don't know what the hell it did now. I think here it wrote it. Yeah, I wrote it in this section over here. So blah, blah, blah. This is not the final product. I will never post this stuff one by one to LinkedIn, but I can now take it, rewrite it in my own words, change a bit of things here and there. But as a company, we have to write like sometimes like hundreds of posts, and these are the ones where we can basically take those, make a human touch on this, check it again, because it already has the context of like hundreds, like in this case 200 posts already basically. So lesson on this one, and here you see a sneak peek. The lesson is have strong content, context, have clean data, because if you have like wrong stuff in here, it will take the wrong information, of course. And that is something that, of course, really don't want to have. Like if the data doesn't work, if some of the information is not correct anymore, and so on, then of course the whole system kind of breaks apart. And I think this helped us so much. And I'm also like very, very, very strict with my team to maintain clean hygiene instead of Notion, so our AI doesn't mess up with like wrong and false data. And this applies again, like you can just have your ChatGPT project, this works, but ideally you want to hook it up with something. We're actually now going next level with this one by having a dedicated database structure for a bunch of information that we can basically take, that is not on Notion, that is on, what is it, Superbase. So it's like a dedicated database structure. And this one can then basically give data, or other tools can pull data from this master database that are not even Notion. So for example, we have vibe coding tools like Lovable, Replit, or some other tools, even our freaking website. They can all pull the data from this one shared resource, including Notion, including our agents, including AI, including when I have like my wearable stuff and things like this in the future. And we maintained that this data works, and then it's always correct and always has the right answer. It doesn't take some random stuff from the internet. It's always based on our data. And I think if you understand and managing the data, it's super powerful, as a person, but also as a company. So that was the first section. I would love again to get some nice juicy engagement from you guys. Like, was it helpful? Was it not helpful? Was it too complicated? Was it not deep enough? Did the examples help? And so on. The more you guys tell me, the better I know what direction to go in. And of course, if you have any questions, happy to answer those. Throw them in from any direction, and then we can see to also kind of like help you out in real time as well. In the meantime, while the comments are coming in quite delayed, I'm gonna check on the next section already, because this is now, once we have the foundation, it gets really freaking powerful, because now with a strong foundation we can trust, we can add another key ingredient, and this again elevates everything that you have already built and eliminates 90% or a very high amount of percentage of your repetitive, stupid manual work that you probably don't want to do. Think of it, think about how much manual work actually goes into an event. It's crazy. But not just an event, also like big projects. And there's like so much efficiency lost actually by losing information, repeating things also, that it could actually like be a huge chunk of your profitability, or like just of your time wasted that you don't want to do. And inside of the company, we actually call this caveman work. So we actually like, I tell my team, hey, you're not allowed to do caveman work. If you have something that is like very stupid, too simple, and like just like takes a lot of your work, figure out a way to automate it. So that is the second layer. It's the automation layer. Because just using AI is cool, it's nice, But combining this with a set of automations, which I will show you exactly how they look, it's going to be really freaking powerful. And we have a bunch of ways to trigger automations, to also use automations. We have a lot of gluing tools that bring these automations together. And let me show you exactly what I mean by that. So I will show you one example because I could talk forever about it. And it's a lot of stuff that we do because it's now becoming one of our key, almost like one of our key USPs, to be honest, as running a company. Like we actually get now big conferences coming to us asking us, hey, how do you automate all of this stuff? Can you help us as well? Which is a nice potential side model that we could actually run and try out. So let me see. In the meantime, I will go and share the screen now. So this is one of the things that we did for our hackathon XRCC. And this is one of the systems that we had. Like it's pretty big. I will skim through it just so we kind of get the idea in how much, like what is out there. And then you can see, start with simple processes for yourself. Like, hey, this is annoying. I always have to do this and this and this. And that can help you a lot. What part of the AI systems are you more proud of? Hello, Anu. Nice to see you. Yeah, actually, like some of those, because now the coolest part, and maybe the one that I'm mostly proud of, is actually the last years I've been building many of these systems myself, which is cool. And this one was really leading to a lot of growth for our company because we had like insane amount of efficiencies. We could also ditch a lot of let me just, before I go, make this like split screen. That's nice because I want to answer this question. Because we had insane amount of efficiency, which also lead to a lot of profitability. Because we could ditch a lot of legacy software that is usually very expensive. We had like software we needed to pay like 20,000-30,000 euros, which was kind of bad. And now we have built it ourselves by using these automations. And this is the cool stuff. That is something that many people now can just do and build actually. And now I taught my developers, Ashra and Sharu, shout out here, to actually build these systems. So I don't even build these systems anymore. So I built a machine, but now last year I built a machine that builds the machine, which is pretty powerful. Like just think about the layers of leverage that this has actually. That is really cool. Now, about the system that I want to show you as an example. How do I make this? Flavio, help me. How do I make this look good? Yeah, that's a nice way. Before we get into the questions, let me actually just show this one now. So the problem of this one was, or the system itself was the mentor approval. So for XRCC, our hackathon, we had 50 plus mentors, so 50 plus individuals from different time zones across multiple weeks. We also got like 100 plus applications because we really want to make sure we have in course high quality mentors, like people who actually know their shit. And that is a very messy process. So really to summarize, like we had everything starts with a teleform. Anybody working with us or being part of our events, you guys know we really like our forms. That is usually the entry point for many of these systems and things that we do. So it's a very simple form. People fill it out. It gets added. Everything gets added to our Notion. So we internally have every data clean and inside there. So all of the fields that get mapped into Notion. And then that's the only thing that it's a little bit of a secret sauce. Like we have like a bunch of like complicated algorithms that will be like way too complicated to talk about. But it's basically like a scoring algorithm. This is like there's like a lot of code inside also and so on. But then we add all of these fields into our email system. So this here is our email system. This is Notion, all of those stuff. Then let me just see. Then they become a potential mentor. Then the yellow stuff is kind of like what is manual because we don't want to fully automate everything. Like, of course, the AI should not tell which mentor gets approved or which mentor gets rejected. That makes no sense. So it gives us a score. It gives us a good baseline. Then we manually decide, okay, is this mentor rejected or approved? If that person gets rejected, then it sends an automated. What's up? Am I still audible? Can you guys hear me? Okay, nice. Yeah, that's the thing with live streams. Live streams in Germany, that's like the most difficult thing or the most insane thing you can do because the internet is not famous for being good. But if the mentor gets approved, we get a notification on Slack to just like add a bunch of stuff also. We communicate it internally. We automatically create the social badge for the mentors, like this picture here, I'm a mentor. There's a lot of other stuff happening. We create the post on LinkedIn, and that is the stuff I just showed you earlier, with all of the mentor information and our language baked in. So we have the draft for LinkedIn automatically as soon as we hit approve, which is pretty cool. Once we have this, then it's kind of the second part when we have the lecture. Again, just like TLDR, the mentor that is now approved fills out a new form to submit the lecture. We have to see if the timing works, if the mentor is not colliding with other lectures. If all is good, then we approve it. If we reject it, we just tell the mentor, hey, do you have a better time? Ask for an alternative. If it gets improved, there's like a lot of stuff happening, and this may look like super complicated, super what the hell is going on, but we built this over multiple years, of course, like multiple iterations. It's automatically creates the thumbnail, the reminder on Notion, puts the thumbnail inside of Notion, sets up the stream on our streaming platform. It also, let me just see, connects the mentor to our lecture database, which is then what all of the participants can see. And if it's a mentor, then we give the mentor link. But we also had lectures that are non-mentors, like judges and sponsors. Then they get a different link and so on and so on. So you guys can see that there's a lot of like, okay, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and so on. And the glue tool that we currently use is Make and NNN. They're pretty powerful, but otherwise these are like all standard tools. Like some stuff on Notion, some stuff on Slack, some stuff on email, but it's just like all of these things are coming together, and that is the beautiful magic of automations, and some like sprinkled AI elements inside of that. That is, I think, also just saves us a insane amount of work. Like it's just unbelievable how much work it saves us. I can give you like a little sneak peek in how our working document looks. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because I don't want to share like too much sensitive stuff in here, but like this has our entire go-to-market strategy actually. I don't know what I can show right now, so I'm just gonna like zoom out a little bit, like our bonuses and so on and so on. But we see like there's like all of the blue things, all of those stuff are systems that we have built. So we have a system for our multipliers registration. We have systems for our mentor. I just showed you this one for our referral tracking with the golden ticket, like how many referrals do you bring in. All of our Notion packages for different roles, for sponsors, for mentors, for media partners, education partners, referrals, participants. There's like a lot of stuff that is going on that we basically build once and then it just runs, and that rhymed, which is pretty cool. And price distribution, of course, because it's a pain in the ass to send prices to like 100 plus people in 100 plus countries. It's a big headache, of course. So we have, of course, systematized all of this as well. And this here is our master database we are talking about, and a lot of other cool stuff. So I hope this gave you some good inspiration. Again, let me know in the comments if it give you some inspiration, if this is too deep, if this is not deep enough. Do you want to have more of that, less of this, etc., etc. But I think this is gonna be like just the way forward in how I believe companies should operate, because companies who don't are just like incredibly inefficient, to be honest. Uh, and yeah, that's it for the automation part. And you guys can see it. I can just like nerd out about this stuff forever, basically. That is really what we do day in and day out all the time, building these systems, making sure that our events are as good as possible and as efficient as possible, because of course we can't just hire like 50 people to run these events, because then we don't make any money anymore, because we of course want to keep it affordable. So we want to have the premium experience that you guys have with the car shuttle and full food and drink and all of this stuff. We can only have it because we have a extra efficiency. We don't need to hire extra people for that type of stuff, where other events may need to do this. And that is kind of like the way that helps us to consistently grow, at least ideally, of course. All right. Let me know your questions. Does Notion AI work better than its integration with ChatGPT, Atlas Brother? Yeah, I mean, I only use the Notion AI, like these tools within Notion, not with the Atlas browser. I haven't used it yet so far, to be honest. I think Notion's. I'm actually considering even like why do I even need the others, to be honest, because Notion is just like so much better. I mean, I think that the thing is like Notion also uses your existing subscription. So, for example, it uses my Claude premium subscription. So I don't use ChatGPT anymore. Actually, I only use Claude in combination with Notion, and I less and less and less use any other um, tools that I need because none of them have so much context as Notion, and Notion just runs Claude. So that is kind of the idea behind it, actually. How long did it take you to build all of that for the first time? Yeah, that's actually really cool because some of these systems I just brainstormed in the sauna after the gym. And I was like, hey, we need a mentor lecture system automation kind of thing because I mean, the funny part is like a lot of that stuff is probably driven by my personality. And I just hate manual work so much. There's nothing I hate more than this stupid ass paperwork. It kills me from the inside, and I think that is why I'm like so prompt to just like automate and build out everything. Maybe to agree that at some point it's like overkill, but some of these systems I build like on 1 or 2 days. Um, because that is like how my brain just works since I don't know, I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, hey, this is so inefficient. Why are you doing this and this? I was already like thinking about like route optimization for deliveries and some stupid shit. So I guess that's like maybe a personality trait of mine that I'm always thinking about that stuff. That helps me a lot to just like make some of these things really, really fast. But then if we actually do them for real in production, that can take, I don't know, like a few weeks because then I kind of like mock it up, prototype it really fast, it already works. And then I give it to my team and then they make it like really, really polished and really, really good. That's typically the workflow we have had so far. How much trust do you have in those automated workflows to run a full hackathon? Yeah, actually a lot because the cool thing is we have everything backed up. So none of these systems are like a black box. We always know what is going on. So for every telephone, for every mentor stuff, all of these things are backlogged inside of Notion. So we have like everything um, as hard data, hard code instead of Notion already. So if ever something goes wrong, we know it immediately. We can just go into our log and see it instead of our databases. That is really important. Like all of those vibe coding tools and the automations and those fancy things, you always want to have control. You want to know exactly, okay, if this happens, what is the log? Like you don't want to go just like send it out and hope it works and or assume it works, even worse. I think that helps you a lot to actually trust these systems because there is gonna be stuff where a lot of these chains can break. And that is why you want to know you want to basically have the pipeline, but have the pipeline transparent. That helps you to actually be like, okay, there is the error going on. Can we use Notion as CMS? Yes, I think you can actually. I'm experimenting with this as well. For websites, there are even like a content management system. So for websites, it can also work. It's a little bit messy. So what we do sometimes is actually we use Notion as our backend, and then we render the stuff on the website inside of Framer, for example. So let me just share my screen actually. Maybe it's also like a nice teaser actually as well. So 1 second. Window, there we go. So this is our website, XRCC. By the way, we are launching soon. It's still unofficial, but next up, XRCC 2026. And a bunch of data here, like those dates and those numbers here, they actually come from Notion. So it fetches the data from Notion, because then once we update them in Notion, it changes it inside of a bunch of other places. And that is really helpful for us. Just a nice teaser, by the way. Anybody interested in Exas, check it out. Really cool. We have a conference as well. And an infinity pool. But now I will stop the advertising. But you can use Notion as a CMS as well. Do you have any good resources and tutorials? Or do you just spend a lot of time learning these tools? By the way, I got influenced last week on Dale Carnegie. Oh, nice. Very good. Really good book, by the way. Yeah, I think for the Notion, like, I think the crazy part now is that for me, there's a lot of experimentation. I do a ton of experimentation right now. I spend a lot of time in Notion, and I build these things actually like on my mind. I'm happy to do tutorials if you guys want that, like share more high level stuff. I think as soon as you have a fundamental understanding of what do you want to build, why do you want to build it, what is the benefit, you don't need to be overly technical anymore in order to get extremely high leverage. I think with tools like Notion and Lovable and Replit and so on, there's like a lot of ways where you can really tinker and experiment. And me having, I think like in one of the episodes, I talked about skill stacking, understanding the foundation, the fundamentals. If you understand the foundation, the fundamentals, the principles really well, then you can go with the high abstraction, like, hey, just build me this. And you know exactly what you need and what you want. That is a really nice combination of traits to have. So for me, good resources, I don't really know, to be honest, for like building these automations and tools and type of things. Let me know, or I will let you know. Feel free to follow wherever you're watching from, right now from LinkedIn, and I will talk more about it. And yeah, Dale Carnegie, nice book. Alrighty, so that is it for the questions for now. Let me talk about the third pillar, which is again like just another super high level. It's crazy. Like nowadays, what you can do with these tools is just kind of scary at the same time also. But again, if you experiment in a safe space, you can get so much work done with so little effort inside. And if you follow these principles, the quality is actually really good. And hopefully XRCC tells. Now we are ready for AI employees, aka AI agents. We have been experimenting with that quite a bit now, and it's getting better and better. We actually have our employees now instead of Slack. What is his name? I think it's Vicky Ricky. So we have Vicky Ricky. I'm gonna work on Willy Really. Let's see what they will be able to do. But this is like almost like new territory. Because this is like now getting real. Like there's so much talk about AI agents when it's just a stupid ChatGPT chat, which doesn't make too much really. But you want your AI now to do stuff for you, like to really build things. And ideally even proactively, like not even like in a chat window, like, hey, build me this, and then actually build it. Like maybe even in a way where every Monday you get a report, or like you proactively get these skills. And what I want to show you here is getting deeper on the skill building, basically. Like, because if you have this one, Notion now has these agents actually like also better. There's some other tools also, and then it's like really good with this as well. So I also highly suggest you to try these out, because they get really good. So I want to give you a couple of examples here as well. Let me just go into my AI training again, my Notion AI inside of here, and then take my window. Boom, there we go. All right, so let me see. So some of the tasks that are really interesting, like many things I just like keep having to do. I just go to Notion, this is your task now, or this is your skill. Just do that. So I talked about this for the LinkedIn post rewrite, for example, but also when we had the hackathon, like I had the agent to build a weekly digest. It fetches all information from a bunch of these pages. Like it goes through all of the master tasks, through our Slack channel, through our websites, through our databases, and takes all of this and builds a, hey, this is what we did, this is the results. Let me see, that was the exact structure here, like what we did last week, what's planned for next week, everything to plan, like all green check marks, and what we need from Meta. Like this was like specifically for Meta in that case, because they were a lead sponsor. And then it actually put this in dashboard. I was reviewing it, and then I was just like, okay, sending this to them, which is pretty cool. Like those type of things, they are so helpful. Like if you can exactly give it an algorithm, which is a simple word for recipe. If you can give it a food recipe, like take some eggs, crack them, put open, add some salt, and I don't know, add some cheese, put it in the pan, fry it. If you have a step-by-step list of what you want your tool to do, which pages to access, where to put it, and everything, like what to read, what to write, etc. This can get really helpful, because now again, like many of these tasks, I can create a XRCC sponsorship deal in like 5 minutes. So let's actually, I don't know, let's take a fictional example of this one. Let me see. Maybe not the sponsorship deal, because maybe it has too much sensitive data. Let me see. I can use the meeting notes cleanup, for example. I'm gonna pretend that this is now my meeting that I had, for example. Share. I can copy the link. I can also just like, yeah, I can either do it like this, be the link, or just be like add, and then the AI automation system, blah blah blah. And then, well, actually, let me actually do a sample offer, because I think that is more valuable for you to see actually. So using your skill, create a sample offer for, I don't know, let's take a company. For Apple, I was just looking at my iPhone. For Apple to sponsor a Vision Pro track for XRCC, this will be a track for, let's say, 100,000 euros. That's not ours here, but let's take it for 100,000 euros. Use the offers database as a reference, and then you can build it inside there. Use our standard template and build it in that time. And then I can actually remove the last one, build it in that time, because it makes no sense. And then I just type it here, sponsorship offers. Oh, now you could see some of the maybe sponsors. There we go. So let's push it here, and then I can keep talking about this. So the interesting part is now when this becomes one of your really like employees. I think that is where things can get really interesting actually. When let me actually zoom out a little bit. Or I think I have to zoom in so it looks a little bit better. Not really. So I'll go in here again. So I think the interesting part is once you have these employees, you can start actually delegating work to them. We now have them in our Slack space, which is pretty cool also. Again, I will follow up with more information on this, because I think it's also really helpful. To be like, hey, what's the status on this one? Or even have a meeting. You just put your agent inside of that meeting also, which many of these already do. So I think that is a simple use case. But really kind of like being part of the team. I think that is kind of like the philosophy that I'm now trying to adopt inside of our company. Again, just like experimenting, to be honest. I think that is going to be when you start to have these really like AI agentic employees, which is something really like early stage. Of course, it's like all hardcore beta, nothing concrete yet, but this is something that is slowly coming. All right, so let's actually, before we put me on, yeah, so here again, that is just like a sample offer that I will tell you how well it did actually for XSCC, but it built the entire thing. So normally for every offer, Flavio, maybe you can make this one big again. Yes. So for every offer, I have a custom video that is sent to every single sponsor. That is why they have a video here. So this is a little text. I say, hey, what's in your package? You get a main track, the Apple main track, for example. Again, I just had Apple as an example because I saw my iPhone. So no affiliation here. But Apple, if you're watching, if you're interested, let's talk about it. So they get like a dedication, they get VIP access, they get the sponsor video. This is like a hybrid hackathon. We have an online phase, we have an in-person phase, and you see that it's all of the stuff in there. They will get 40 projects. I mean, that's something to be discussed, of course. We have our proof of our proof here, and I talked about proof staking in a previous live stream. Anybody who remembers it, let me know. So I'm eating my own dog food. All of the stuff I talk about is, you can see it right here. Anybody first live stream a couple of weeks ago when I talked about it, hey, share numbers, share objective proof like we have here. These are the numbers I talk about. These are the numbers I talk about. These are the quotes I talk about. These are the statistics I talked about. All of these things, you want to have them actually. These are like a bunch of quotes and so on and so on. So I think this is something that is just so helpful. And here I have even more quotes. Again, they mess up the rendering. But you could see, I just gave it like one prompt and it actually built the entire offer. I will have fine-tuned it with the video, of course, and so on and so on. But then if I would go here, you would see all of my offers, and many of them have been created like this. Pretty cool, I would say, because it saves me a lot of time, a lot of time. And this is kind of like the thing. And now when it gets even crazier, again, this is nowhere and start nerding out. What I do with many sponsors actually is I have a discovery call. I have a call, hey, why are you interested in sponsoring? How can this be helpful for you? We have like an hour-long conversation actually. And then we take actually, I take all of the information about the call, like the transcript, whatever, and then put it here, be like, hey, we talk about this. Let's feed this into the offer and kind of like make it even more personalized. And that is something that would take so much more work if I would just do it manually all the time. And then I think this is something where you can really put some of these things together and scale personalized, I don't know, efficiency really high. Cool. So these will cover some of the use cases I talked about. So really the foundation layer one, have clean data. This is the foundation of everything. Have a clean workspace where things are in the right context. Have a good volume of context also. Otherwise, the AI will do some stupid random stuff. Have think about the automations. Again, n@n, make.com, some of those type of tools are really good. Glue them together with your Notion workflows, with your emails, with some of the other tools. Tally is amazing to just get data in. Once you have the automation layer, you want to talk about adding AI agents, your AI employees that are pretty much free, which is pretty cool. And I think this is like the philosophy that I see is really the future of work and business. I'm going to call this super business. I will make some more videos about the super businesses because I think they will disrupt a lot of corporate old school enterprises, because you can work so fast with so much leverage that like a 10-person team can really become a 100-person team. I 100% believe this, and I see this more and more coming. And that is really the future of tech leveraged businesses, a concept I would love to talk about more. I will love to talk about more and more because we are like living proof of this. And XRCC by the numbers showed this, and hope this will kind of become more and more our edge. And I'm happy to share more about those things with you. So you get some good value. We have a nice win-win, and yeah, a little interesting different direction than always talking about XR. All right, my friends. So now I'm open to all of your other questions. I will gonna run this stream for a little bit more. As always, if this was helpful, please share this with your friends, with your coworkers, with your colleagues. This is the only way we grow. I really want to scale this up, but of course, this only makes sense if we have interest in this one. I only know if we have interest if I see some resonance coming. So let me know if you liked it and share it with your friend. They will like it as well. And then they will like you for sharing this. That's the idea. All right, my friends. So I'm gonna take a little bit of water now because my throat is dying, and then you can let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. I'm gonna wait a little bit. All right. Yeah, I think the questions have been asked already. So I think that is the pretty good also now. So then let me see. Let me just double check one more time, but looking good so far. So then thank you so much everyone on all of these platforms. We are, by the way, also planning to host these on dedicated videos on YouTube, maybe even Spotify if that is interesting, because some people ask me now to also have this as audio version. I think can be helpful as well. And otherwise, looking forward to next week and see you all soon and have a wonderful Thursday evening in my time at least. Thank you so much and